Hey everyone, welcome back to more political chatter. So we are doing a 2024 election prediction. This one was a subscriber requested matchup, and I really think it's a good one. Thank you so much for giving me this suggestion, and I would love to do it as I am a big fan of both of these people, and I'm very familiar with both of them. So I did decide to do this matchup. So the matchup is Krystal versus Saagar and Enjeti, who I assume I'm pronouncing his name right. But anyway, they co-hosted, I know they did a little while ago. I don't know if it's still going on. They co-hosted a news show called The Rising. I believe what they work for The Hill, you know, like The Hill, the news source. But they are two political journalists. Krystal, I know, Krystal, she does do some polls, I believe that she does run a pollster. But anyway, so Krystal does lean more to the Democratic side, and Enjeti leans more to the Republican side. However, both, I'm sure, are independents. I don't know that for a fact, but I mean, I would believe they are independents, as they are both very independent-minded. And let's see how this goes. So, first off, Krystal would win California, Washington, and Oregon, and Hawaii, solidly Illinois, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine's 1st District. Saagar and Enjeti would win Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana. He really won't do that well in these rural areas, so Montana will be likely, North and South Dakota will be safe. Nebraska's 1st will be likely, Kansas will be likely. Missouri will be likely, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama. West Virginia, I honestly could see being likely, because Krystal will definitely have a major appeal to the rural working class kind of, American public, the blue-collar workers, especially in the Rust Belt. West Virginia being included, I do think that she would win, many working parents in the suburbs of West Virginia, white working class parents. I think she would do very well with them. Enjeti will not appeal to the Trump base. He just won't. Of course, Krystal won't really either. But Enjeti, he comes from the city. He just will not appeal to them. He will not. He's not enough conservative for them to vote for. So, believe it or not, I do think that West Virginia would be likely. Indiana, I think, would be likely. We'll get to Iowa know how. Alaska, I think he would do fine in. That'll stay likely for him. But Texas, he would appeal to the minorities in Texas, as he is a minority himself, and I think that would allow him to narrowly carry it by narrowly make it a likely margin win here. I think, down in South Carolina, I think that this would stay likely for him. So, yeah, let's go into likely Democratic states now. I think that, this is kind of tough, but I do think that Virginia would stay likely. New Mexico and Colorado, I think that Krystal will do well in. Of course, Enjeti will not, win that Trump, will not do as well with that Trump base as other Republicans might. But I think that Krystal will be able to carry it by a likely margin because of that. I think that's the only likely states for the Democratic Party. Alright, moving on to lean Republican states. I do think that Florida would go to Enjeti, as he would appeal to many minorities in the state of Florida. I think that would be a critical factor down here, and I think that it would be able to carry him to victory as more of a moderate choice for Floridians. Going to North Carolina, I think that he could narrowly squeak out a win here just because of how much it has been shifting Republican. I'm gonna take away that. I'm gonna make a toss-up. But, going to Maine's 2nd District, he does not have any rural appeal. Krystal does. Remember, Krystal endorsed Richard Ojeda for, president in 2020, who was from West Virginia. He was a white working class guy. He wanted to, he was a Democrat somehow. He was like this tough guy from West Virginia, and Krystal actually endorsed him. So, that's like the type of people that will be voting for Krystal, and, that's another reason West Virginia will be likely. that means that Maine at large will be likely, Krystal Ball. Going to New Hampshire, Enjeti would actually do well here, I believe, because of how moderate the state is, but because it is more Democratic than Republican, I will give it to Krystal Ball, probably by a lean margin. I think that this would actually be a pretty close state, surprisingly. Alright, let's go to Nebraska 2nd District. Krystal Ball will probably pull out a win by lean margin. I do think, not Minnesota, or South Dakota. I do think that Minnesota will be lean for Krystal Ball. This is a Democratic state, of course, so it will go to Krystal Ball. But Enjeti, this is more of a moderate state, though. We have to remember that. Enjeti will do somewhat well here. Going to Iowa and Ohio, these are pretty tough. We'll get to them. I mean, we don't have to do them right now. Let's go down to Georgia and North Carolina. In Georgia, I see Krystal Ball very narrowly pulling out a win by tilt margin. Just because this, you really need the Trump base to win here. Without others, this is why, never mind. But, what was I going to say? I don't know. But Krystal Ball, I do think, would win here because of the fact that Enjeti, especially the South, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, Texas, this is where the real Trump Republicans are, right? And Enjeti will not do very well in the South because of how bad he will do with them. So I think that Krystal Ball will win in the state of Georgia. North Carolina, I do think, will be tilt Enjeti. It's just really too Republican to go to Krystal Ball, I believe, at this point in time. I know people in the comments will be like, how did you not give North Carolina to Enjeti? Because of the state predictions I'm about to make in a couple minutes. But that's my reasoning. It's the fact that it's the South and it's much different from the rest of America. And Krystal Ball will not do very well in the South either. We have to remember that. There's nothing like special about Krystal Ball in the South, while there is something special in the Rust Belt. So we'll get to that. I do think that Enjeti will carry the state of Arizona by a lean margin. He is more of a moderate Republican, a traditional conservative. And because of that, remember, that's why Arizona went to Joe Biden in 2020, because Trump was not a traditional conservative. Enjeti more so is. So I do think that a traditional conservative will easily be able to carry Arizona in a presidential election. I think that it would go to him by a lean margin. Nevada, probably not. I'm going to give that to Krystal Ball by a lean margin, saying that it went to Hillary by 2.4% and it went to Biden by 2.4%. Alright, now let's get to Iowa and Ohio. So first of all, in Ohio, I do think that Krystal Ball would win by a tilt margin. One of the few times I ever give Ohio to the Democrats in my 2024 election predictions. But I do think that she would win here because of her Rust Belt appeal. She will appeal to these white working class voters far more than Enjeti will, even as a Republican. Krystal Ball, even as a Democrat, will be able to appeal to these families here. Enjeti will not. It's as simple as that. Iowa, though, I don't see it because of how much more rural it is. Krystal Ball will be able to win Ohio by winning much more votes in cities like Columbus, Cincinnati, etc. But in Iowa, very much less populated state, I think that she would lose there because of that. So now we have the Rust Belt, the Blue Wall. In Michigan, I definitely think that Krystal Ball could win by a lean margin. In Wisconsin, I think the same. In Pennsylvania, I think the same. I think that she's going to carry all three by a lean margin for the same reasons that I just said. I mean, she will have this white working class appeal in this region that Enjeti won't. She will be seen as the candidate who will be fighting to restore these cities here. Remember, she talked a lot about that. Both of them did, really, but Krystal Ball, essentially, I do think would appeal to these voters more than Enjeti. So Krystal Ball wins with 309 electoral votes to Saagar Enjeti's 229. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. It would help me greatly. I'm working on an election night right now that I actually can show you if you guys want. This is what it's looking like. It's Tulsi versus Biden. What an epic, and look at this, isn't that cool? This is the opening screen. But it's looking great so far. I updated the theme. So I'm gonna be working on that for a while. But anyway, comment video ideas down below, and I'll see you all next time.